30 years of joyfulness. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM, hits 103.9 FM in Accra, on Love 99.5 in Kumasi, and myjoyonline.com. We're also live in all 16 regions of Ghana via our various affiliates, live on X Spaces and Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petrosol, Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. This afternoon, the era of mediocrity and financial recklessness must end today. Words of President Mahama as he warns loss-making SOEs will be merged, privatized or shut down.
We'll mark you based on your performances. If you're not matching with the pace of the reset agenda, you might be asked to step aside. And so if that adds to the horror movie, that's the intention.
Well, we have details of that as he warns that heads of these state-owned enterprises face possible removal if they fail to meet targets or declare their assets. Also coming up, lives and assets at risk as sea erosion threatens 2/3 of Ghana's coastline.
Now you're talking of all the Ketu South, largely the Anglo people vanishing from where they have been for centuries. If you lose Bakano, for instance, only God knows where the sea is going to run or rush into other parts of Cape Coast.
Also, the Greater Accra Regional Minister has warned that structures built on waterways, particularly within the Ramsar sites, will be demolished as the ministry conducts an inventory of flood-prone areas to mitigate the risk of severe flooding in the region.
There's a drain around the Tema area, the community 12, and eventually people are taking the gutters off with their buildings, and so that is where our focus, our major focus.
Now, government is set to begin the immediate desilting of drains as the rainy season approaches. We have details of that as the Anti-Flood Task Force embarks on a tour of Greater Accra, parts of efforts to address Ghana's persistent flooding.
Some tough decisions would have to be made, especially with walls that have been, built, blocking, the water flow.
Well, also coming up, former presidential advisor on health, Dr. Insia Sari, challenges government's claims that there is no dedicated funding for free dialysis treatment. Meanwhile, the Renal Patients Association warns against cancelling the policy.
Only do you hear a kidney patient is dead or something. But if this thing is to happen right now, they should expect the mortality rate rising up because the patients are all between 18 to 40. None of them, most of us are not working.
Well, we'll also tell you about our sports dialogue coming up later today. These and more with me, Maame Esi Nyamekye Thompson. This is Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. And this afternoon, President Mahama has declared that the era of mediocrity and financial mismanagement by state-owned enterprises must come to an end. He warned that loss-making SOEs will no longer be tolerated and may either be merged, privatized or shut down. Speaking at a meeting with CEOs of specified entities under the State Interest and Governance Authority (SIGA), the president called for a complete reset of SOEs to drive their transformation. We'll hear from him shortly, but first, let's hear from the Finance Minister, Kesi Olatufosin, who says many state-owned enterprises are struggling financially and have not been able to achieve profitability.
This meeting could not come at a better time than this. In fact, it has followed two important meetings of state. The first is the National Economic Dialogue, and the second is the National Budget. Your Excellency, our state-owned enterprises are going through very difficult times. Times that profitability has eluded almost all of them. Mr. President, some specific numbers that we've seen so far indicate, for example, that the Electricity Company of Ghana, for example, has recorded consistent losses from the year 2021. In the year 2021, they made a loss of 1.46 billion Ghana cedis. 2022, 8 billion Ghana cedis. 2023, 5.96 billion Ghana cedis. The Ghana Great Company made a loss of 93.5 million Ghana cedis in 2022 8.6 million Ghana cedis in 2023. Gihok Distilleries reported a loss of 25.1 million Ghana cedis in 2022 and 25.5 million Ghana cedis in 2023. Mr. President, this one surprises me. Even the alcohol making company, is making losses. Mr. President, these persistent losses does not reflect the potential of our state-owned enterprises.
Finance Minister Dr. Kesela Thompson there. Now let's hear from President Mahama as he declares that the era of mediocrity and financial mismanagement must come to an end.
This morning's activity is not just a forum for discussion, but a decisive call to action, demanding bold leadership, accountability, and an unwavering commitment to excellence from you as chief executives of state-owned enterprises. This meeting reaffirms my commitment to the promise of a shake-up of all loss-making SOEs and realigning them to break even and transition into profit-making. As you have all noted, my 2024 campaign promises and the 120-day social contract with the good people of Ghana were not mere rhetoric.
While our presidential affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbagba is standing by at the Kempinski Hotel with more details. Maxwell, President Mahama has been issuing warnings to CEOs of these entities who fail to declare their assets will face sanctions. What more can you tell us?
Yes, Maame Esi, he has been warning that CEOs who fail to declare their assets within a specified period of time will face sanctions, including possible removal. He has also been talking about what can be done to transform the loss-making SOEs into financially viable and self-sustaining institutions. He says some of the strategies will require capacity-building initiatives to strengthen leadership and operational efficiency. He also talked about enhanced corporate governance training to ensure strict regulatory compliance. One issue that came up is compliance with the Public Financial Management Act 2016. Now, he has been reminding the SOEs that they must prepare their annual accounts not later than 2 months after the end of each financial year.
The 2023 State Ownership Report produced by the State Interest and Governance Authority, SIGA, reveals the inefficiencies affecting many of our SOEs. And this demands that we act with conviction and courage to tackle the systemic challenges confronting these enterprises. And we'll mark you based on your performances. If you're not matching with the pace of the reset agenda, you might be asked to step aside. And so if that adds to the horror movie, that's the intention.
Well, Maxwell, anything more to expect from the presidency this afternoon? Maxwell, can you hear me?
Hello, Maame Esi.
Yes, anything more to expect from the presidency?
Well, the meeting is continuing here at the Kempinski Hotel. We still have some selected CEOs of the state-owned enterprises still here with the meeting continuing. But later today at 1 p.m., the Vice President is expected at the University of Professional Studies, Accra, where the last forum on the National Education Conference will be taking place.
Thank you so much. Maxwell Agbagba is our presidential correspondent. Now to Parliament. The minority has slammed the 2025 budget presented by the Finance Minister as lacking credibility, arguing that while the minister's presentation conveyed one narrative, the detailed budget and its appendices reveal contradictory data. Former Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Abna Osayasari, also challenged Dr. Kesela Thompson's figures, contending that these discrepancies seriously undermine the budget's integrity.
In paragraph 173, the minister stated in the budget statement that they are projecting a tax revenue percentage of 17.2%. So clearly, two different figures are being shown here. But like I always say to people, real details are in the budget. The real details are in the appendices of the budget. Minister in his speech says, I'm growing revenue by 17.2% of tax to GDP ratio. And then you come into the budget and it's 16.1%. Clearly, there's a problem with the credibility of our budgets. Let me come to the expenditures as well. My minister, the former minister, made mention of the 24-hour economy, and so I will skip that. But let me say that when you compare our expenditures in 2024, when we had an election, usually with elections, the government spends so much because they have to give the Electoral Commission everything that they will need to conduct a free and fair election. So when you look at the appropriation for 2024, clearly with an election that was fully funded by government alone, the appropriation was 250 billion Ghana cedis. Here we are, telling us that they want to cut waste, reduce, rationalize expenditure, and reduce the waste in the system. They are giving us an expenditure and appropriation of 291 billion Ghana cedis. 291 billion Ghana cedis. No election. We are cutting down. So they say one thing, and the numbers in the budget speaks to something completely different.
While still at that event, former Finance Minister and ranking member on the Finance Committee, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, also tackled government's decision to return to the bond market. He described the decision as ill-advised.
We are going to open up the bond market. And I'm saying that this is not good advice, and this is my reason. The timing for the announcement of the minister to open the bond market coincided with the announcement of the elevated fiscal deficit based on their manipulated data, a condition that exposes the country to high risk of borrowing from the market. The effects of this unfortunate data manipulation are already hitting our economy, already, since they read the budget. Why do I say that? The government must know that just by presenting such erroneous data as propaganda to score cheap political points, Ghana's sovereign bond spreads are already widening, again, nearing 700 basis points. When almost 3 months ago, this had declined to 500 basis points and was even heading further downwards. Why do we want to destroy the gains which we have made through cheap politics? Also, Bloomberg reported last Tuesday, 11th March, the very day the budget was presented to Parliament, that Ghana's dollar sovereign bonds were among bottom performance in emerging markets, after the Minister for Finance said the country meets a primary budget balance target of 2024. Just after saying that, this is what the market is saying to us. Dollar bonds due 2035 declined 1.8%. Notes maturing in 2029 fell by 1%. So international markets have not reacted kindly to the budget, demonstrating their lack of confidence in the government's economic policy direction. So you see, if you cook figures to create a narrative to run your country down, international investors will show you where power lies. That is what is happening to Ghana already.
Well, Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante joins us with more from this event. Kweku, I know that other members of the minority have been talking about this. What more have they been saying?
Well, yes, currently speaking is Kojo Fonkoma, the ranking member on the new Economy and Development Committee. But prior to him, we had heard from Gideon Boako, who criticized government for, in one breath, saying that they were cutting wasteful expenditure, and in the next breath, actually stacking up the budget at the Office of Government Machinery.
Well, Kweku Asante, what more has Kweku, I beg your pardon, Kojo Oponkroma been saying?
Well, Kojo Oponkroma is tackling what he believes is a deficiency in the budget in outlining programs that will actually deal with the unemployment situation in the country. He believes that contrary to the NDC's mantra that they are going to create jobs prior to the 2024 election, they haven't done anything of the sort. And in fact, they are only coming in, and in fact, in the budget, have actually announced a freeze on public employment. And so they believe that this is what is truly a deception budget, a budget full of, in their words, threats that really does not answer to the core of the Ghanaian suffering. In the coming days, we expect that Parliament will begin commenting or debating the statement that was presented by the Finance Minister. That ordinarily should be Tuesday after MPs are oriented in terms of the specifics of the budget that was presented by the Minister last Tuesday.
Thank you very much, Kwekwa Sante. Now, some key assets along Ghana's coastline are at risk of destruction due to worsening sea erosion. Security expert Colonel retired Festus Abwaje, who wrote a paper about the danger ahead, revealed that about 370 of the 550 kilometers of coastline is vulnerable and need immediate attention. The assets at risk, according to him, include the Abwaze Power Enclave, St. Augustine Senior High School, Denu Aflau Highway, and Cape Coast Nursing and Midwifery Training College, among others. Already some parts of the Volta region is battling the erosion that has rendered thousands homeless. Festus Abwaje tells Joy News government must access World Bank funding to address the danger.
In the part of the coast where St. Augustine's is and other colleges, they are all under threat of being washed away or inundated by the sea. That our entire 550 kilometer stretch of coastline, about 340 or so miles, they are under threat. If we don't do something now, it's going to cost us dear. You see, the moral side, especially of the Angola side, is that some of the ravages they are suffering now was as a result of the construction of the Akosombo Dam, which reduced the outflow of the river water into the sea to keep the sea further afield. About a quarter or a third of Ghana's population lives around the coast. Well, as I've suggested, if you lose the Blekusu strip, now you're talking of all the Ketu South, largely the Angola people, vanishing from where they have been for centuries. If you lose Bakano, for instance, only God knows where the sea is going to run or rush into other parts of Cape Coast. So it's not only going to be St. Augustine's, it's going to be many other parts of Cape Coast. I will really, plead with our government, the current government. So we're not going to borrow money. Indeed, we can access World Bank money
to do it
under the program the World Bank calls the WACA, the West African Coastal Area Management. The money is there. All that World Bank is looking for is a government to come, with proposals as to what it is going to use the money for.
Well, in a related development, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Oklu, has issued a stern warning that structures built on waterways, particularly within the Ramsey site, will be demolished.
We came here about a month ago to caution them. Immediately I assumed of it, I was here, to monitor the situation because we want to prevent this year, we want to prevent flooding in Greater Accra, especially in the site. And so we came to this Ramsey site. Except that these buildings along the drain, there's a drain around the Tema area, the community 12. And eventually people are taking the gases off with their buildings. And so that is where our focus, our major focus is.
So in your rounds, you did not come across any property that has been sited illegally?
We have a lot of properties.
Well, with the rainy season approaching, government is set to begin an immediate desilting of drains to mitigate flooding in Accra. As part of efforts to tackle the country's persistent flood problem, the Anti-Flood Task Force, led by the Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of Operations Stan Dogbe, has conducted an assessment tour of flood-prone areas in the capital.
We need to go there and then work with the Ministry of Water Resources, Ministry of Local Government, and then the 48 Engineers Regiment to begin the process of desilting, the drains that have to be desilted. Some tough decisions would have to be made, especially with walls that have been, built, blocking, the water flow in many areas, and then buildings as well. But it's not just going to be desilting. There's going to be a communications angle to this. We are going to engage in a lot of public advocacy.
Well, beaches in Ankafor within the Infantiman municipality have become an eyesore due to mountain refuse, open defecation, and poor sanitation. Erica Sante visited the Ankafor community and has more on this report.
From about 100 meters away, the stench from this beach greets visitors and residents alike. Once a place of relaxation, it has now become an eyesore, a dumping ground for refuse, a site for open defecation, and shockingly, a hub for food vendors.
put to me sha o to me football no aso da beye wo fie ya pe ko gunu aso ball na beye wo fie and fact ball no ha ye pa so tu fie ma me na obobo ye pa o so sa so the finish a braye my friend me won so the mani mu toilet na mu nka kauna adazi ye bra pa ye bre nto be yank won tu fie obobo ye pa.
Health officials are warning that this growing sanitation crisis could put the entire community at risk. Acting Director of Health in the Central Region, Dr. Agnes Anani, says the situation directly threatens the fight against cholera.
We've introduced vaccination for 3 of our districts, and with our environmental assessments, we noticed that it was shortage of water, and also the environment, open defecation and refuse, indiscriminate dumping of refuse that are worrying. And when you walk along the coast, you still see people practicing open defecation, which is very worrying, because the same water that will come and wash, the feces back into the water. And this water, you go along the shore, I remember when we went to Ifutu, we saw children washing their mangoes with water that they've taken from the sea. And this water, as we all know, if people are defecating along the coast, they think that the water is contaminated.
Erica Santi with that report from Ankaful community in the Central Region. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7. We'll take a break. When we return, we have sports, and we'll tell you more about the National Sports Dialogue right here on Joy 99.7 FM. And also, former presidential advisor on health, Dr. Nsiansari, challenges government's claims that there is no dedicated funding for free dialysis treatment.
Only do you hear a kidney patient is dead or something. But if this thing is to happen right now, they should expect the mortality rate rising up, because the patients are all youth between 18 to 40. None of them, most of us are not working.
Where did I? Now I don't know when you just saw.
Obiang, what you call her? And to want to say petrol super energizing drinks for motion. Hey boy. Petrosol are celebrating their 10 years in grand style. They're giving back to their loyal customers. Hope you have registered at their online portal. Don't say I didn't tell you, oh.
Each month, customers will stand a chance of winning items like tricycles, motorcycles, television sets, refrigerators, phones, fuel vouchers, and many more. But the best part is that at the end of the promo, we will be giving out a grand prize of 2 Suzuki Espresso cars to lucky winners who stay with us all through the promo period. All you need to join is to visit any of our over 100 stations across the country to get registered, or go to www.petrosolcrm.com to register online.
Petrosol, energizing dreams.
Hey, stay soft concentrate fabric softener. I was such it move. Just send it this way. You hear my tina watch. New year it's now watch. No beer baby some was some demoni in a say. Didn't you say? Fair quiet, yes, in beer association Ontario. Use stay soft and new year it's now watch. Nani boss to tap from cry. A fabric softener. A year near says, sir. Choose to stay soft. No news so you know. FDID a dreading crack to yatu.
When I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth with Kale Charcoal toothpaste. This gives me confidence all day.
Anytime you meet Amma, don't be surprised I smile showing my beautiful white teeth, because I don't have cavity thanks to Kale Charcoal toothpaste for its natural charcoal properties. In fact, we are like twins. I can't go without my Kale Charcoal toothpaste.
That be why I use Kale Charcoal toothpaste morning and night when I go bed safe. It make my teeth white when it comot every scent from my mouth inside. My confidence level they go up, so I show my 32 teeth all.
Introducing the Kale Charcoal toothpaste, formulated with activated bamboo charcoal powder, ensures whiter teeth and removes bad breath. The strong natural property of the activated bamboo charcoal removes bacteria, absorbs surface stains on our teeth caused by coffee, wines, and tobacco. Welcome, Kale Charcoal toothpaste. Kale Charcoal toothpaste, Sankofa Yenchi.
Kale, happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back to the Midday News. Right about now, we have sports, and Joy News or Joy Sports at 6 p.m. today is assembling the country's top minds to discuss governance, infrastructure, and funding issues in the context of Ghana sports. And I have on the line with me Joy Sports editor Fentio Tairu Fentio to give us more on what to expect this evening. Fentio, what should we expect?
A very packed conversation that borders on some of the most critical issues in our sport. I think we can all agree that at this point, our sport is not at the level that we want, and so we've gathered some brilliant minds to come and share ideas with us. It's from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The sports minister himself, the Honorable Kofi Adams, will be our special guest, and he will sit through the whole 3-hour program, taking notes about some of the ideas that the people will be sharing. So we're all very looking forward to some brilliant ideas to be shared from people from very accomplished and diverse backgrounds. And at the end of the whole event, we want to put together a document and present it to the sports ministry and the government to start implementing. Because at this point, usual ideas have not worked. It's time to get drastic. It's time to get innovative.
Thank you so much, Fentio. And you don't want to miss that, coming on live 6 p.m. on the Joy News channel. Now, former presidential advisor on health and then dialysis committee chair Dr. Anthony Nsiansari has dismissed claims by Health Minister Kwabena Mintah-Kando that there is no active free dialysis policy. The Akufo-Addo government assured renal patients that World Bank funds will support free dialysis until the end of 2025 after a pilot program ran from June to November 2024. However, Mr. Mintah-Kando told Joy News that the initiative, initially covering children under 18 and adults over 60 before expanding to all renal patients, had no dedicated funding, with only 4 million cedis allocated, which expired on December 31, 2024.
I get confused when people say that there is free dialysis somewhere or in Ghana. This is a misleading statement. There's no free dialysis anywhere. And so we had 2 million allocated to dialysis, and they had to take about 2 million Ghana cedis from the corporate social responsibility making fund. So you can't depend on 4 million Ghana cedis for something that you should use 75 million Ghana cedis for. And the National Health Insurance Formula died on the 31st December 2024. So beyond 31st December 2024, there was absolutely nothing like free dialysis.
Well, Dr. Nsiansari refused these claims, and head of our health desk, Fred Smith, joins us with details. But before then, this is what he's been saying on News Desk.
If you give good health to the people are well. For instance, health is wealth, and there's also wealth in health. So health is not just an ordinary cost to anybody. It is incumbent on every government to provide good health care to the people of this country. Right. And it's one of the most important, to me, responsibility of any government. So that's how. So the health is an investment, not a cost.
Well, Fred Smith is with me in the studio. Fred, what more are you learning?
Well, from Dr. Nsiansari's write-up challenging the minister's claim, he's saying that up till the end of this year, renal patients can continue to enjoy the free dialysis treatment, and that some 57 million cedis out of the 1.9 billion has been already paid, and that's no one can stop it.
Right. Thank you so much, Fred. Now, the world is celebrating Kidney Day on the theme, Are Your Kidneys Okay? Detect early, protect kidney health. Here's what you need to know about your kidney situation.
In Ghana, an estimated 10% of the population suffers from kidney disease, with the prevalence of chronic kidney disease ranging between 14 and 17%. Significantly higher than the global average of 10%, according to the Ghana Kidney Association. Despite the growing burden of chronic kidney disease, access to life-saving dialysis treatment remains limited. Only 10 out of the 16 regions have dialysis centers, with most facilities concentrated in major cities, leaving many patients in rural areas without essential care.
And it's M&J time with Jackie and Shola. What's trending, girls?
Now let's get into kidney, because I heard you saying kidney. Today is World Kidney Day.
Indeed,
But
yes.
again, it is the 20th year. So 20 years ago, we started this initiative all around the world. And it's just exciting to
I hope
see
you've checked
the
your kidneys,
progress.
though.
Yes, please. If you
Shall I
haven't,
use
Jackie,
mine?
have you?
I don't
Because
think
you
so.
look very suspicious.
It's very important. Though. It's very important. You need to check your kidneys.
Right,
Yes.
right. But I think we can all attest to the fact that 20 years it's been good. We keep progressing every year. We hear more, we learn more. So I mean, that's
Others too
about
are
it.
selling their kidneys for
Please,
money, so.
if you need kidney, if you need kidney, call me.
We also have sports related stuff trending on social media. Just so you know that today we have the National Sports Dialogue happening.
Yes.
And we have a lot of sports and stuff trending on
can't
social
wait.
media.
Right.
But away from that, about an hour ago, we saw a video trending on social media of Ghanaian journalist Kofi Adoma. First account details of what
Shot in the
transpired.
eye,
Yeah, when he was shot in the eye. We've never heard from him ever since then.
Yes.
But the video shows him very emotional, narrating the incidents on social media. A lot of social media users have been
Responding to that.
responding to that, sending him their well wishes. One comment from Blessed Man says that in this life you can be born perfectly and become disabled when you face calamity. May God rescue us from any form of violence and distraction.
We wish him a speedy recovery. And on that note, we draw the curtains on the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. I am Maame Esi Nyamekye Thompson. Up next is Living Word with Pastor